G'day guys, it's Mark and Dad here from North Oz, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my 2021 flatback Land Cruiser Prado and my dad's 2022 wheelback Prado, because we've had a lot of comments on videos, especially on the tailback, the flat tailback videos, saying, what's the difference between the flatback and the wheelback? So in today's video we're going to address it and do a full-on comparison to make sure you guys know what you're getting into if you want to order your brand new Land Cruiser Prado. So let's roll the intro and get into today's video.
Okay, so last time we spoke was about a month ago, and I've had my Prado for that time. I've done about 1,500 Ks in it, and very happy with the car. I'm getting more and more used to it because it's rather large, and I'm happy with the power, I'm happy with everything. But today we are looking at the back. It's a strange place to start, but here we are. So one of the downsides, you could say, of having the extra fuel tank underneath the car, which gives me a lot more petrol, which is handy because, as I said before, I'll be towing a caravan, and I imagine I'd get about 22 litres per 100 Ks if I'm towing a caravan. It's handy to have that extra fuel capacity. So to pay for that, we have to have this, which is your wheel smack bang in the back of the car. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It doesn't look too bad. And the cameras here, which give us a bit of height, which is handy for when I'm putting my caravan, which we haven't received as yet, by the way, and that'll help me when I'm going to hook up the caravan. An advantage of having this is from the point of view of changing a spare tire. It's quite easy to access. You just take that off, unscrew the tire, put it on the car and put it back there. Not a lot of bending. I'm getting older now, so I'm not that good at bending. So that's a plus. I'm happy with that. I find it easy to open because you just go here, the little latch is right there, which is a little bit different on Mark's car because it's elsewhere. It's the same spot, but anyway, I like this. And up she opens. And it's quite well hinged. It doesn't feel like, I'm on an angle here because we parked on our driveway here, and there's a bit of an angle going up, and I can feel no weight on that at all. It's quite easy to move, and as Mark explained prior in his previous video, there's a lock, so even though that's on an angle, that is not going to come back and whack me in the back and do damage to me. So that's pretty good. The back of the car is a bit different here from when you look at Mark's car, because I haven't taken all of that out. I've left it all there. I'm happy with the storage capacity because as we use this for our business, and I can fit a lot of space, a lot of things in there. To shut it, you just unlock and away you go. It's shut. Easy to shut. A couple of other little features that I can use with this setup is that underneath here I can actually attach a 30-litre water container, so I can actually access extra water if I wanted to. On the back here I could hang a bag and have like a trash bag and stuff on the back of this too, which makes that handy. Not something I would have thought of when I was buying the car, but it sort of presented itself later on. I'll just show you another little difference too with this setup, and it could come in handy for people who have trying to get access from the back through this section here, and that is, you can actually open the door from the inside with the latch there, which could be quite handy if you're trying to just exit the car from the back. You can just, it has a lock on it too, so you can lock it from the outside like that if you wanted. And yeah, so that's a little difference that this car has against the flatback. Something I've noticed too that's a little bit different to this Prado against Mark's Prado is that because the wheel comes up a bit higher like that, it does obscure a bit of your rear view. Driving the car, I haven't found that to be a problem. I can still see perfectly out the rear view mirror, so Toyota's done a good job sort of minimizing the effect of this. And you know, with regards to reversing, I got the reverse cameras. I don't turn around in the seat, you know, and look back through the back window to reverse. I just use my reverse camera on my dash, and the amount of beeps that go off if I make a mistake, I'm not making a mistake reversing at all. So I consider it a very small sort of what should I say? Not even problem. It's just there anyway. So there's something to consider if you think you're getting one of these. Just see if that will actually affect you or not. In my case, it doesn't really. Another thing too, I was thinking of, I actually like the look of this. I prefer the look of having that there. It looks industrial. It looks like it's serious. You know, there I am, you know, with the wheel there. And another thing too is that it's just that added little bit of protection. You know, if you're reversing somewhere and you just unfortunately hit a post or something, at least you're only just taking out this part of the car, you know, or just hitting that. So that's, and you got a big tire there too. So it's just, I don't know, it's just something you could consider. It's something that's there, and I just thought it worth mentioning that.
So the main reason why I actually ended up getting the flatback Prado was because it was the only one that was actually going to be here within a reasonable amount of time. So I ended up putting in an order for the Prado. Went to John Cole Toyota up at Atherton, and I put in an order for one, and they said it was going to be around 6 to 8 months. And because I did that, though, they said that they would consider me for, like failed, I guess, people falling out of their contracts and, I guess, cancelling their orders. So the car would be coming here anyway. So I really didn't actually get a choice. They just said, we've got a flatback Prado. Did you want it? And it was only about, they said it was like 2 weeks away. And I said, sure, absolutely, I'll take it. So that's what I ended up doing. So that's kind of the main reason why I ended up getting the flatback. But in hindsight, I probably would have gotten the flatback anyway. And we'll talk a little bit about that now. So one of the main things is I'm a very, I guess, aesthetic-minded person. So I like things that are that look neat. I like to take photos of them, especially in, of course, all the different landscapes that we have around our country. So for me personally, I like the look of the big Land Cruiser Prado sign on the back. You know, it's nice and shiny when it's not dirty like it is now, and it gives the back a very nice aesthetic, very similar to the Land Cruiser 200 series. So when you have the 200 series and the Prado with the flatback like this, it can be quite difficult to tell the difference between the two, unless you know what you're looking for. So for me, I really like the look of the 200 series, and I think that this is quite similar to that as well. And because we don't have the big wheel on the back here as well, it doesn't come across my vision at all. So that's, for me, a positive, because I can actually look down at quite a decent angle from my rear view mirror. So for me, I actually do, unlike my dad, I actually do like to look around. A lot of the time, I rely on my eyes a little bit more, especially as I've only got the rear sensors, but Dad has got the upgraded package, which we will talk about in another video. So I only have to rely on my rear sensors. So for me, I obviously check with my eyes to make sure I'm not going to crash into something in front of me or to the side of me. So for me, I do, use my eyes a little bit more. Another thing as well, and it's actually something I didn't have in my notes, is something that you don't have, Dad. And I actually forgot to write this down. Oh, you forgot about that, didn't you? So this does fold all the way up, but the way I've got this awning set up on the back now, it doesn't open all the way up, but I can still get to like little things that I need to get to in here. So this does fold up all the way, which is quite handy.
That's a cool feature.
Yeah.
Especially for what you're doing, because you go camping a lot.
Don't push it.
And you'll be you'll be using that to get in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that is pretty cool. So I can have the door as well open up. So I can give you an idea of how wide that opens up. So it kind of opens up to that. So yeah, so that's something as well to consider, is that you can access the back, even if the back is technically locked. And it's just handy as well for if you're at camp, you don't want to wake up anybody else who's parked near you. That's a lot quieter than opening up your car and slamming doors. So that's definitely a positive. The reverse camera on my car is actually just tucked up, just underneath here, under the Land Cruiser Prado sign. So for me, I think that's a little bit of a better position for it to be. It's a little bit out of the way. If I back into something, or the rear cover on Dad's car breaks or it falls off or something happens, that'll come off. But on this one, you'd actually have to damage the entire back of the car to actually get to the camera. So it's a little bit more protected, I feel. And the next thing that we'll talk about, guys, is the center of gravity. So as we know that the weight distribution is very important in cars, and in Dad's car, the wheel is not only sitting higher up on the vehicle, but it's also sitting towards the back, further towards the back. So mine has a little bit better center of gravity, especially you notice way up high when we are going on, say, dunes, and we do quite a lot of sand driving up here, believe it or not, in North Australia, far North Australia. So yeah, it is something that to consider, that there could be a little bit more instability for the Wheelback Prado. So the GVM of these cars are identical, they're exactly the same. However, you need to consider that Dad's Wheelback Prado is carrying another 63 litres more of fuel. Now, in terms of maths and how that works out, 63 litres of fuel of diesel is approximately about 52-ish kilos. Add in the steel and all that sort of stuff for the tank and the extra plumbing, it's probably going to be an extra like 80 kilos overall added to the GVM or the car, or taken away from the overall gross vehicle mass. Which means that in my car, for those people that don't really know much about GVM, in my car, that basically means I can have an additional 80 kilos of storage or whatever it is that I want to put in here. It could be another adult, whatever. I have another 80 kilos to play with. So even though I've got my roof rack set up on the top and I've got my setup in the back of the car, I'm probably at around the same weight that Dad's Prado is from the factory if we filled up all of the tanks all together. So that's something to consider as well if you are GVM minded and you don't want to do a GVM upgrade, which can be quite expensive. That might be something that you would consider, that maybe getting the flatback gives you a little bit more leeway in your choice and when you are considering and calculating your GVM. And we know for a fact that the government is cracking down more on cars with high or cars going over their GVM with the scales on the side of the road and stuff like that.
Yeah, Mark mentioned that how he had ordered my style of car with the extra fuel tank and the wheel on the back first, and this came up because what we have in Australia now, and I think it's worldwide, is that we have to wait a very long time when we order our cars. But strangely enough, I ordered one of Mark's, this one like Mark, that's the one I ordered. And I thought about it at the time, not being experienced with caravanning and all that, and I thought this would be fine because, it's got like a 80-litre tank, that'll get me a long way. And then I thought, well, suppose I wanted to go further, longer distances. But anyway, I'd ordered it already, so I said, oh, well, when it gets here, it'll be right. So I got a call from John Cole Toyota in Atherton. My friend Adam rings me and says, we have this new one coming in, which has the wheel on the back, and it has extra petrol tank. He said, your car will be in roughly about another month or so afterwards. He said, but if you want this one, you can have it. It's a new car. They were buying it to be a demonstrator or something, but he said it hasn't been a demonstrator. They just bought it, and he said, if you want it, you can have it. So I thought about it, consulted a few people that have caravans, and they all said that extra tank of petrol is great to have. And so that's why I went with this. So it's sort of like we both went different paths and we both came up with different cars. But having received this car, I do really like the look of it. I like the way it drives. And the feature of the extra tank makes it worthwhile to me. And the added feature too of the access of the spare tire to somebody of my age, I think it's quite beneficial as to ease of changing a tire in a strange area. You know, it might be on the side of a road or the side of a track somewhere. Easy for me to get that. So I thought I'd mention that. So winding it all up, I suppose you'd say, well, I'm very happy with my car the way it is. I like the back the way it is. I really have no regrets. I can't wait to hook up the caravan, and when we get it, it shouldn't be long now. They said it's drawing close, and when we do that, I will show you guys what it all looks like and what my impression of it, you know, with the caravan. For those of you who have caravans, you might think that's interesting. So that's my story on the whole thing.
So for me, I'm pretty happy with the flatback Prado. I don't feel like I need to go ahead and get a Wheelback one just for the extra 63 litres. I think that, you know, I could just carry a jerry can or two, and that will do me fine. And, you know, a lot of the places that we have, especially like where I travel, which is mostly around far north Queensland at the moment, obviously it will be stretching out further than that. But for me, you know, we have plenty of fuel stations, even all the way up to the very tip of Australia. So for me, I feel like that 87 litres is plenty. You know, it's on the highway, it's 1,000 Ks, a little bit more than that, that I'll get out of a tank. And and it does everything that I need it to do. And in terms of like all the other stuff, like the additional, you know, folding up, you know, window and all that other sort of stuff, I quite like that stuff. For me, it means that, you know, when it's raining, I can just get my camera gear out very quickly. So for me, again, that's just another specific thing that I like about this car that I probably would miss if I had the Wheelback. And you know, Dad, he's using his for caravanning, so he's going to be spending a lot of his time taking things in and out of the caravan, not so much getting things from the back. So for me, you know, I live out of this, you know, out of my car, not out of something that I tow. So for me, having access to all my stuff, this is the best option at the moment. So I hope you guys appreciated the comparison. I had a lot of comments on videos asking me what's the difference between this, that, and the other thing, you know, with these two vehicles. So I'm glad that we finally got not only a chance to talk about it with one Prado, but also both of the types of Prados. It ended up working out really well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that we were able to get two cars side by side for a comparison. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And thank you to our special guest, Dad, for giving us our insights, for giving his insights for us about his car. So much appreciated. Put it here.
Thanks, mate.
Dad. And if you want to see more of him, make sure you click the like button. And if you haven't seen his previous video where you gave his initial thoughts on his 2022 Prado, make sure you check that out as well. That has been very popular, and people like you, Dad. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing, I guess, on the internet. So we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you later, guys.